While in maintenance mode, the GX2012 is not operational as a gas detector. It will respond to gas in the AirCal, AutoCal, OneCal, and bump modes, but there are no gas alarm indications. To enter maintenance mode, take the GX2012 to a non-hazardous area and make sure the instrument is turned off. Press and hold the air and shift buttons, then press and hold the power enter button. When you hear a beep, release the buttons. The unit will prompt you for a password. Enter the password by using the air and shift buttons to select each password number and then pressing and releasing power enter to enter it and move on to the next one. A password is always needed to enter maintenance mode, even if the password menu item in maintenance mode has been turned off. The factory set password is 2102. You may change this password by entering the password menu item in maintenance mode. If you enter an incorrect password, an error screen will appear. You must turn the unit off and re-enter maintenance mode using the correct password. Once you enter maintenance mode, maintenance will appear along the top of the screen. The date screen displays. Use Shift to scroll down through the main menu and submenus and to lower values or change the setting in a specific option. Use Air to scroll up through the main menu and submenus and to raise values or change the setting in a specific option. Use the Power Enter button to enter a selected menu item and to enter and save settings that have been updated. An adjustable parameter that is flashing can be adjusted with the Air and Shift buttons. Press the Display Adjust button while entering or updating parameters to exit the screen without saving any changes. The first screen to appear in maintenance mode is the Date screen. To update the date and time settings, press and release the Power Enter button to enter the date screen. The year will be flashing. Use the Air or Shift button to display the desired year. Press and release the Power Enter button to save the setting. The month setting flashes. Repeat these steps to enter the month, day, hours, and minutes settings. The date menu item displays after you enter the minutes setting. Find a fresh air environment, an environment of normal oxygen content, 20.9%, that is free of toxic and combustible gases. When the AirCal screen is displayed, press and release the Power Enter button. A screen appears that displays and prompts you to press the Air button by displaying the Push Air message at the bottom of the screen. Press and hold the Air button. The LCD prompts you to continue to hold the Air button. Release the Air button when the Release message is displayed. The unit will take a few seconds to adjust the fresh air readings, then indicate End at the bottom of the screen and return to the AirCal screen. The AutoCal menu allows you to perform a span adjustment simultaneously on all channels. Before entering the AutoCal menu, perform a fresh air adjustment. Performing a span adjustment requires the use of a calibration kit. The following procedure describes a span adjustment of all 5 channels using a calibration kit that includes a 4-gas calibration cylinder, a percent volume methane cylinder, a demand flow regulator, and non-absorbent sample tubing. Use the Air or Shift button to move forward to the AutoCal menu choice. At the AutoCal screen, press and release the Power Enter button. A screen appears that displays the calibration gas concentrations that the GX2012 expects you to use. If any of the displayed concentrations do not match the calibration cylinder concentrations, press and hold the Shift button, then press and momentarily hold the Display Adjust button. Release both buttons as soon as you hear the buzzer sound a beep, and the AutoCal LAL channel will display. You can scroll through all the channels by pressing and releasing the Air or Shift button. When the desired channel is displayed, press and release the Power Enter button to select the channel for a calibration gas value update. In this example, the combustible channel has been selected and the current calibration gas value is 50% LEL. Use the air or shift button to adjust the calibration gas value to the desired value. Repeat these steps for any other channels that require calibration gas value updates. When you are done updating calibration gas values, use the air or shift button to scroll to the escape screen. Press and release the power mode button to return to the calibration gas value screens. Use the air or shift buttons to select which sensors you want to calibrate, the standard 4 or the percent volume combustible gas sensor, and press and release the power enter button. Connect the tubing from the demand flow regulator to the rigid tube on the probe. Allow the gas to flow for 1 minute. Press and release the power button. The GX2012 will attempt to make a span adjustment on all channels. If the span adjustment is successful, the LCD will display Pass along the bottom of the screen before returning to the AutoCal screen. If the span adjustment fails, the LCD will show Fail on the screen indicating which channel or channels failed. The alarm LEDs will flash and the buzzer and lights will activate. Press and release the Reset Silence button after the buzzer and lights stop to reset the alarm and return to the calibration menu. Attempt to calibrate again. If the failure continues, investigate the cause. Disconnect the tubing from the inlet fitting. If you have a 5-sensor unit and wish to calibrate the percent volume combustible gas sensor, repeat this process selecting the percent volume calibration gas value screen and using a percent volume methane cylinder. Remove the regulator from the calibration gas cylinder. Store the components of the calibration kit in a safe and convenient place. Use the air or shift button to move through the calibration mode until 1 cal is displayed. Press and release the power enter button. A channel selection screen appears that displays the CH4 channel. Scroll through the channels using the air or shift button until a channel you want to span adjust is displayed. If you have a 5-sensor unit, the percent volume combustible gas channel will be one of the choices. Press and release the power enter button. The single calibration screen displays for the sensor you selected. The gas reading flashes. Connect the tubing from the demand flow regulator to the inlet fitting. Allow the calibration gas to flow for 1 minute. If necessary, use the air and shift buttons to adjust the reading to match the concentration listed on the calibration cylinder. Press and release the power enter button. The GX2012 will make the span adjustment and will return to the single calibration menu. Disconnect the tubing from the inlet fitting. Repeat this process for any other channels you wish to calibrate, being sure to use the appropriate calibration cylinder. Use the air and shift buttons to scroll to escape in the 1 cal menu. Press and release the power enter button to exit 1 cal. Remove the regulator from the calibration gas cylinder. Store the components of the calibration kit in a safe and convenient place. Install the demand flow regulator onto the calibration cylinder. Connect the sample tubing to the demand flow regulator. Use the air or shift buttons to display the bump menu item. Press and release the power enter button to display the bump test gas values. Use the air or shift buttons to see the percent volume combustible gas bump test value. A bump test may be performed on the standard 4 sensors or on the percent volume combustible sensor. Use the air or shift buttons to display the screen for the sensors you wish to bump test. Before proceeding, confirm that the bump test gas values are the same as the concentrations on the calibration cylinder. If they are not, adjust the bump test gas values by entering the AutoCal menu item, changing the values there, and re-entering the bump menu. Connect the tubing from the demand flow regulator to the inlet fitting. then quickly press and release the power enter button. The unit will begin counting down from 30. When Auto Cal in the Bump Set menu item in maintenance mode is set to off, the instrument will indicate which channels passed or failed the bump test with a P, pass, or an F, fail, to the right of the gas. To view the bump test gas readings, press the Air or Shift button. You can scroll between the bump test results and the bump test gas readings with the Air or Shift buttons. To return to the bump screen in calibration mode, press the power enter button. If bump test fails, perform a calibration. When AutoCal in the Bump Set menu item in maintenance mode is set to on and all channels pass the bump test, the following screen appears. To view the bump test gas readings, press the Air or Shift button. You can scroll between the bump test results and the bump test gas readings with the Air or Shift buttons. To return to the bump screen in calibration mode, press power enter. When Auto Cal in the Bump Set menu in maintenance mode is set to on and any channel fails the bump test, the instrument will beep and a calibration is immediately and automatically started. Continue to apply the calibration gas. Cal on the bottom left of the screen will alternate with Apply. The calibration time will begin to count down in seconds in the lower right of the screen. At the end of the calibration, the instrument displays the results from both the bump test and the calibration. Use the Air or Shift buttons to scroll between the calibration bump test results, the bump test gas readings, and the calibration gas readings. To return to the bump screen in calibration mode, press power enter at any time. If any channel failed the calibration, the buzzer will sound a double pulsing tone until you press and release the power enter button. With lunch break set to off, which is the default setting, the GX 2012 automatically starts new TWA and peak reading collection and resets the time in operation at startup. With lunch break set to on, the resume measurement screen displays during startup. From this screen, you can choose to continue accumulating TWA and peak readings and the time in operation from the last time the GX 2012 was used, or start collecting new readings and reset the time in operation. Use the Air or Shift buttons to display the lunch break menu item. Press and release the power enter button. The screen will indicate the current setting. Use the Air or Shift button to display the desired setting. Press and release the power enter button to save the setting and return to the main menu. With latching set to on, the default setting, the GX 2012 remains in alarm condition until the alarm condition passes and the power enter button is pressed. With latching set to off, the GX 2012 automatically resets an alarm when the alarm condition passes. Use the Air or Shift buttons to display the latching menu item. Press and release the power enter button. The screen will indicate the current setting. Use the Air or Shift button to display the desired setting. Press and release the power enter button to save the setting and return to the main menu. With alarm silence set to on, the default setting, pressing and releasing the reset silence button silences the buzzer when the GX 2012 is in alarm. The LEDs continue to flash and the display continues to show the alarm. If the alarms are set up as latching, when the gas concentration falls below the alarm level, pressing and releasing the reset silence button clears all alarm indications for that alarm. If an alarm condition occurs, you may still enter display mode by pressing the Display Adjust button. The buzzer will be silenced, but the LEDs will continue to flash and the unit will continue to vibrate. If you return to measuring mode and there is still an alarm condition, the LEDs will continue to flash, the unit will continue to vibrate, and the buzzer will remain off. Once the condition clears, press the Reset Silence button to clear the alarm indications. With alarm silence set to off, you cannot silence the buzzer. If an alarm condition occurs and you enter display mode, the buzzer will not be silenced and the LEDs will continue to flash. Upon return to measuring mode, if there is still an alarm condition and the alarms are set up as latching, you must wait until it clears before you can press the reset silence button to clear the alarm indications. Use the air or shift buttons to display the alarm silence menu item. Press and release the power enter button. The screen will indicate the current setting. Use the air or shift button to display the desired setting. Press and release the power enter button to save the setting and return to the main menu. This setting indicates how often the GX 2012 saves readings to the data logger. The following interval times can be selected: 6 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, or 10 seconds. The factory setting is 5 minutes or 300 seconds. Use the air or shift buttons to display the log interval menu item. Press and release the power enter button. The screen will indicate the current setting. Use the air or shift button to display the desired setting. Press and release the power enter button to save the setting and return to the main menu. The Alarm Points menu item allows you to update one or more of the following settings: warning, alarm, STEL, and TWA. For the combustible gas channel, it is not possible to adjust either the warning or alarm settings to be higher than 60% LEL. In addition, the warning setting cannot be adjusted higher than the alarm setting for all channels. It is not necessary to adjust every setting for every channel when you enter this menu item. All settings are shown here for example. Use the air or shift buttons to display the Alarm Points menu item. Press and release the power enter button. You may then select a channel. Use the air or shift buttons to select a channel. The combustible gas channel is shown for example. Press the power enter button to display the warning setting for the combustible channel. It will be flashing. Use the air or shift buttons to change the warning setting. Press power enter to save the setting. The alarm setting for the combustible gas channel will then be displayed. Use the air or shift buttons to change the alarm setting. Press power enter to save the setting. The unit will direct you back to the Alarm Points screen where you can use the air or shift buttons to select the oxygen channel. The first selection for the oxygen channel is the alarm pattern. The choices are LH, LLL, or HHH. The LH pattern provides a decreasing warning and an increasing alarm. The LLL pattern provides a decreasing warning and a decreasing alarm. The HHH pattern provides an increasing warning and an increasing alarm. This setting is for operation in inert atmospheres and will cause inert to appear along the bottom line of the display during normal operation. Make your selection using the air or shift buttons and press power enter when finished. The factory setting is LH. You may then adjust the warning setting and alarm setting for the oxygen channel using the air or shift buttons. Press power enter when finished with each selection to return to the Alarm Points screen. Use the air or shift buttons to select the CO channel and press power enter to display the warning setting. Adjust the values for the warning and alarm settings using the procedure just explained. When you press power enter after selecting the alarm value, you will then be prompted to select the STEL value. Use the air or shift buttons to change the setting and press power enter when finished to save the setting. You will then be asked to enter a TWA value. Use the air or shift buttons to change the setting and press Power Enter when finished to save the setting and return to the alarm point screen. Use the Air or Shift buttons to select the H2S channel in the alarm point screen and press Power Enter. Adjust the values for the warning and alarm settings. When you press Power Enter after selecting the alarm value, you will then be prompted to select the STEL value as you were with the CO channel. Use the Air or Shift buttons to change the setting and press Power Enter when finished. You will then be asked to enter a TWA value. Use the Air or Shift buttons to change the setting and press Power Enter when finished to return to the alarm point screen. When you are finished making adjustments, use the Air or Shift buttons to select Escape and press Power Enter. You will be returned to the Alarm P screen in the main menu. The DLog DSP menu item allows you to turn the Clear Data Logger screen on or off. When set to on, the factory setting, the Clear Data Logger screen appears in display mode and allows the user to clear any log data. When set to off, the Clear Data Logger screen does not appear in display mode and any log data cannot be cleared from display mode. Use the Air or Shift buttons to display the DLog DSP menu item. Press and release the Power Enter button. The screen will indicate the current setting. Use the Air or Shift button to display the desired setting. Press and release the Power Enter button to save the setting and return to the main menu. The Bump Display menu item is used to turn the bump test function on or off. If set to off, the bump menu item in calibration mode and maintenance mode does not appear. In addition, the bump set, bump interval, bump reminder, and bump expired menu items will not display in maintenance mode. The factory setting is off. Use the Air or Shift buttons to display the Bump Display menu item. Press and release the Power Enter button. The screen will indicate the current setting. Use the Air or Shift button to display the desired setting. Press and release the Power Enter button to save the setting and return to the main menu. The Bump Set menu item is used to adjust the bump test parameters. Use the Air or Shift buttons to display the Bump Set menu item. Press and release the Power Enter button. The values displayed are for gas time, check, bump test tolerance, cal time, and AutoCal. The cursor on the left of the screen shows which setting is associated with the parameter shown at the bottom of the screen. Use the Air or Shift buttons to scroll up or down along the list. To update the gas time setting, with the cursor next to the gas time and with gas time displayed along the bottom of the screen, press Power Enter. The factory setting is 30 seconds. The value will begin to flash. Use the Air or Shift buttons to select a new gas time. The gas time is the amount of time that the instrument is exposed to gas during a bump test. The time increments are 30, 40, 60, and 90 seconds. Once a value is selected, press and release the Power Enter button to save it. The value will stop blinking. To update the bump test tolerance, use the Shift button to scroll to the check value. The factory setting is 30%. This is the bump test tolerance value that is represented as a percentage. It is the percentage that the bump test reading can differ from the actual gas concentration. If the bump test reading differs more, the bump test will fail. With the cursor next to the check value and check displayed along the bottom of the screen, press and release Power Enter. The value will begin to flash. Use the Air or Shift buttons to select a new threshold value. The available values are 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Once a value is selected, press and release the Power Enter button to save it. The value will stop blinking. To update the cal time setting, use the Shift button to scroll to the cal time value. The factory setting is 90 seconds. This is the length of time the instrument will remain exposed to calibration gas after a failed bump test if AutoCal is set to on. The bump test time is deducted from the calibration time. For example, if the cal time is set to 90 seconds and the gas time is set to 30 seconds, if the bump test fails, the GX2012 will only be exposed to gas for an additional 60 seconds. With the cursor next to the cal time value and cal time displayed along the bottom of the screen, press and release the power enter button. The value will begin to flash. Use the air or shift buttons to select a new cal time value. The choices are 90 and 120 seconds. Once a value is selected, press and release the power enter button to save it. The value will stop blinking. To update the AutoCal setting, use the Shift button to scroll to the AutoCal value. The factory setting is on. With AutoCal set to on, if a bump test fails, the unit will automatically begin a calibration. If AutoCal is set to off and a bump test fails, nothing will happen. With the cursor next to the AutoCal selection and AutoCal displayed along the bottom of the screen, press and release the power enter button. The value will begin to flash. Use the air or shift buttons to select on or off. Once a selection is made, press and release the power enter button to save it. The value will stop blinking. To exit the bump set menu, use the Shift button to scroll to escape and press and release the power enter button.